The past couple of years have shown us games released in all manner of states, from buggy messes to having little to no content to being outright broken. Well, if you're looking for an FPS game that isn't any of those things and has had time to be finished into a fully fledged experience, well, look no further. I have 5 FPS games that you might have missed that you should play today. So, Insurgency Sandstorm. Kicking off the list is one of those games I've mentioned quite a few times on my channel, so I'm getting it out the way first. Insurgency has been out for quite some time now and has received countless content drops and updates that have gone a long way into making this game one of the best in the genre. Even to this day, it is criminally underrated. It eventually received a console port, giving it a chance to stretch its legs to a new audience, but many would still say it doesn't get the attention it deserves. Insurgency is a fast-paced multiplayer experience that focuses on a more realistic and hectic style of play. There is an emphasis on close quarters and claustrophobic combat, and a twitchy trigger finger goes a long way. But friendly fire is on, so you definitely need to watch out. There is also an open proximity mic in play, so whilst communication is important, if you stray too close to the enemy, they might just hear your plan. But if you sneak close enough, you might just be able to hear theirs. It's little twists like this that are littered throughout Insurgency's DNA. Though communication is important in some of Insurgency Sandstorm's game modes, there is a variety to choose from. So if you're looking for something a little bit more casual, then the likes of Domination and the fantastic co-op modes are there for you. There are even some limited time events that really like to shake things up, like handguns only, headshots only, or a zombie-like event in co-op. The modding community is also great here too. There are plenty of tailored experiences made possible by the talented community. New maps, modes and weapons, you name it, the players have added it. Insurgency is like no other and has the perfect blend of realism and action movie fun. It truly is a unique experience that if you haven't tried already, I highly recommend. Battlefield 5. I know many of you are probably still playing Battlefield 5, and that is one of the reasons I am recommending it. So for those newer players that have jumped into the franchise during Battlefield 2042's launch, I encourage you to take a step back a couple of years and play a title that actually has content and can be classed as a finished product. Now, I do need to emphasize a point really quickly, otherwise the Battlefield community might get a little angry at me. Battlefield 5 didn't launch like this, and it was actually in a very similar-ish boat to Battlefield 2042 at the beginning. Not so much content and a divisive game for the fans of the franchise. But years later, let's be honest, Battlefield 5 is a solid game now, and it sits head and shoulders above 2042 at this moment in time. So if you're looking for a good Battlefield experience, then definitely consider going back to Battlefield 5. As I mentioned, the player base is quite alive and well. The sandbox Battlefield 5 has created is fully fleshed out and contains those epic Battlefield moments. So jump in by yourself or with a squad, customize your soldier, and be the best medic the Battlefield has ever seen. Choose from an extensive list of World War II weaponry like the iconic M1 Garand, Thompson, MG42, or jump into the American Sherman or German Tiger tank and wreak havoc, sniping people from the back of the map. The entire lobby will hate you for it, but you'll be having a good time, and that's all that matters. Lastly, the graphics on this game are fantastic. Some may say that Battlefield 1 still holds the crown for atmosphere, and to that I say, yes, you are right, but that should not take away from all the fantastic details put into Battlefield 5, from dirt covering your weapon when you lie down, to characters panting heavily as you scramble to get away from grenades. Mix this with destruction, excellent sound design, and a booming soundtrack, and you have a solid immersive FPS to go back and jump back into. Next up is Squad. Now this is a little bit more of a niche pick, I understand that, but Squad is special in many ways. There is no other way to look at this than a full-on military simulator. It takes pride in its emphasis and reliability on teamwork and communication to function properly. There is a reasonable learning curve when it comes to Squad, but I feel if you're into this type of game and it interests you, then you're more than likely willing to put in the hours to learn the rules and the player etiquette. That being said, I do feel it falls under the umbrella of easy to learn but hard to master, as there are some more simple roles to play with little to no responsibility if that's more your thing, so don't be put off if you're sitting on the fence right now. It is a little slower paced at times, but it certainly doesn't shy away from intensity. When the action gets going, it truly is blood pumping like no other game. There is more risk involved and each life matters. The whiz of bullets, the rush of rockets and booming artillery all around you is actually deafening at times, and really draws you into its immersion, and one of the many reasons people love this game. Of course, the main focus is on simulation, so tactical elements like leaning, dragging down friendlies, no health regen, and actual resource management for your team play a huge role in this game. Ammo, tanks, helicopters, respawns are all limited resources that need constant attention as you try to build defenses and bases across the huge map. Every player has a huge role to play here. Are you going to be on the front lines capturing points with a fire team? Are you going to be responsible for communication to the commander? Are you the medic in your squad, or simply a pilot delivering supplies and troops to different areas of the field? Squad has the immersion and simulation level locked down, and when it all clicks together, it feels great. Metro Exodus. Now, straying slightly away from the multiplayer scene here, I thought it was time to give Metro a little more love. Metro is a special series that does well to keep coming back better and better. There is something about the series that just grips you, and it's no different here with Exodus. It's based on a book written by Dmitry Glukhovsky, and the writing is superb as a result of this. The immersion is through the roof, and again, it's one of those titles that shocks me every single time I see its relatively low sales numbers and popularity. Its tense, spooky atmosphere holds your attention throughout the story with its dark corners and pristine sound design. It has a brilliant blend of psychological horror and action that constantly keeps you on your toes. Visually speaking though, it's on another level. From wide open vistas to dingy underground corridors, its lighting system brings it all to life. Adding some ray tracing features on top of this, and you are in for a visual treat. It's not all about the story and the visuals though. The gameplay is great with some interesting loops and features that keep it fresh. It has plenty of unique weaponry fashioned from old Russian tech, stitched together with improvised attachments and ammunition. This ties into its simple yet effective crafting system that allows you to manage resources and change the way you approach certain encounters within the game. It adds another layer of depth to Metro, and it's not just people you'll be facing up against after all. There are plenty of horrific abominations that roam the wasteland, some big, some small, but all offer up a different challenge for you to tackle. Though a lot of the time you may want to take it slow and stealthy, sometimes the situation simply calls for a grenade and a few shotgun shells to be thrown into the mix, so you best have them at hand when the time comes. And then finally, Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. A strange pick, I will admit that, but a good one nonetheless. I think this is one of the most perfect times to jump back into the classic Modern Warfare 2 experience. With the new Modern Warfare looming over the horizon, getting that hit of nostalgia if you're an older gamer, or a bit of a history lesson if you did miss the legendary days of 2009, will really increase your hype for what's to come. Let's be honest here, whatever your views on Call of Duty, MW2 is an absolute classic. Some call it the peak of the franchise and even the peak of online multiplayer, for that generation of consoles at least. This is the sequel to the game that really put COD on the map and into the big leagues, and was the title that introduced and fleshed out some of the most iconic characters. Think of Soap, Ghost, Price, Roach, Makarov, and yes, even General Shepard. For many players, when they hear the name Call of Duty, it's this game, these characters they think of. This or the OG Black Ops, whichever one. Yes, it is just the campaign portion that was remastered, and going back to it now, it actually hasn't aged all that well. I think we've been spoiled with the engine the new Call of Duty's run on, because going back to the old style CODs, it now feels a little bit clunky and a little archaic too. But that shouldn't put you off. The remaster has given it a new coat of paint, and the story and the classic COD set pieces are fantastic. Arguably, it's the best campaign in the entire franchise. Jump back in, experience the sights and sounds of 2009's best, and remember, no Russian. And there you have it, 5 great FPS titles you should go back and play right now. Now, there's so many great FPS games out there, and I want to know your recommendations. If you had to pick 5 to go back and play right now, what would they be? Let me know, comment down below. I might have to play them myself, and I might even do a second list as a result too. But that's all from me, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, cheers.